Chemicals is an indicator of GDP growth. If you are a pioneer and if you're an entrepreneur, which is really strong in your DNA, you are a good guy for my team. And you should listen to people you really can trust.
Listening is very important, of course.
Yourself.
Yes, so mainly entrepreneurship and team spirits, basically.
It is like a money printing machine. Every quarter you could calculate around $500 million of EBITDA. And 10 years from now, I think we are top 3 player in the global chemical industry.
في الأسواق المتقلبة التردد مكلف والقرار المبكر يصنع الفارق. قطاع الكيماويات يعيش دورات صعود وهبوط حادة. في فترات التراجع تنشط صفقات الاندماج والاستحواذ، وعند الذروة ترتفع التقييمات وتصبح الأصول أعلى كلفة. هنا يتحرك من يرى الفرصة. وراء هذا المنطق يقف رينير سيله، أكثر من 30 عاماً بين الكيماويات والطاقة، واليوم يقود ملف الكيماويات في XRG من أبوظبي. لكن القرار ليس اندفاعاً، بل حساب دقيق للتكنولوجيا والتكلفة وتحسين الأداء. ومع توسع مراكز البيانات وارتفاع الطلب على مواد العزل والبوليمرات المتخصصة وتسارع مشاريع الطاقة المتجددة، تعود الكيماويات في قلب سلاسل الإمداد الصناعية. في هذه الحلقة من حوار وقرار نسأل رينير سيله كيف يتخذ القرار عندما يبتعد الآخرون، ومن يربح إذا كان التوقيت صحيحاً.
You built XRG around 3 main pillars. Why does chemicals sit at the center of the strategy?
Oh, we have historical roots. We do have historical roots, and that's my true love, Borouge. All started with Borouge here in Abu Dhabi. It was a lighthouse project, how to cooperate with an international partner over here. We have built the world's largest cracker, ethene crackers here in Abu Dhabi. We are going to build the 4th cracker now, so that we are going to increase our world leading position. So it starts here. So there's a deep knowledge of polyolefin chemistry here in Abu Dhabi. It started that we have created and built the world's best polyolefin company, and that's Borouge. And that's why chemicals were the main focus, how we started. We have built the portfolio around Borouge. We extended in the polyolefins. We integrated now 2 companies from Europe, from Austria, and from Canada into one of the world's largest polyolefin champions. That's how we built it. And then we said, okay, come on, we have to diversify our portfolio. That's how this story about Covestro started.
Reiner, you speak with a lot of passion, and I love it. Now, to talk more, why double down now while the chemical sector is facing global pressures?
Well, we believe that the chemical cycle will recover. It's a matter when. And if you believe in and have the view long term that chemicals is coming back, then it's an investment opportunity. I'm convinced, because in your daily life, you have always the need of chemicals. If we come down and analyze ourselves, then we are in the world of biochemistry, and you find out that also you as a person are full of chemicals. It's biochemicals. And in our daily life, in all the major trends I do see, you can't do that without chemicals. Look, the AI revolution, for example. If you don't have chemicals, you can't invest into data center, because you need our isolation materials. You need special folia to protect the solar panels. You need our special resins we are producing just to increase the efficiency of windmills, so that the transformation towards renewable energies can take. You need my light-weighted polymers to make an electric vehicle more efficient, that the battery runs a bit longer. So all these chemicals are also needed in the future. And chemicals is an industry which has a growth perspective. And the growth perspective is even better if the chemical cycle comes back. Chemicals is an indicator of GDP growth, global GDP growth. And as more it comes, as more it is. The situation we are in today is that the automotive industry is really struggling, that construction industry is now recovering. So I think that chemicals in construction industry will have a good year in 26 to recover. We see chemicals more demand in electronic industry because of the AI revolution, and we do see chemicals also in the defense industry because their heavy investments are waiting if you see what's happening in our world.
And what demand shifts gives you confidence that chemicals will remain a long-term growth engine?
It will be, because all the other industries are depending on chemicals. And that's also why I'm so much voting for chemicals in the UAE, because this is the centerpiece if you really would like to build on diversifying your industrial landscape. You need it in every other industry. And that's why chemicals will have a future.
But investing in chemicals is not necessarily trendy today. What makes you have the conviction rather than hesitate?
When we are investing into companies, we are investing not into the present, we are investing into the future. And when we look into chemicals, the main question today is, when is the chemical cycle coming back? And when you look into the M&A markets, you will find out that M&A is anti-cyclical. So the really good and attractive assets are moving into the M&A market when we are in the down cycle. If you're on the top of the cycle, everything is overpriced. And that's the reason why I think we have to act also anti-cyclical when it comes to chemicals, because we are now in the down cycle, and that's what we did. But you need to look at the companies in more detail. It's not what is the current situation and environment. It is also, do we have a potential in the company? What makes the company special? And there we are looking at what is the technology position, what is the cost position, what is the upside potential in the company? Can I make more out of the company when it comes into my portfolio and under my management?
You oversee assets like Fertiglobe, Borouge, and Covestro. How do you manage focus, especially that decisions have global consequences?
Well, we do have a strong focus on 3 pillars, and all I can advise everybody, stick to your strategy. Yeah? It's very often that you look into your neighbor's garden and you are deviating from your strategy. When it comes to EXRG, we are looking into the value chains of polyolefins, of performance materials, and the nitrogen value chain with fertilizers. These are the 3 main pillars and the main value chains in chemicals we are focusing on. And what we are doing is that we are going to build on these chemicals to get a top leading position. What we want to go is we would like to internationalize our business. We don't want to have a regional focus. We want to become a global player in each of these business segments. So we want to be the number 3 in polyolefins worldwide. We are already the number 2 in performance materials, and we are the biggest seaborne ammonia producer in the world with Fertiglobe. So we have created a portfolio with global leadership.
And to talk about you personally, what personal or daily routine do you have or do you follow to filter noise and concentrate on matters that are truly important?
Well, my advice is, first of all, you should listen to experts. And you should listen to people you really can trust if you really would like to find yourself, isn't it? And that's what everybody should have as a daily practice. What I do is I use my international network just to balance it. I would talk to many people. I'm reading newspapers just to see what is the major trend. But at the end of the day, you also have to make your own judgment. And you have to look into your own crystal ball to find your freedom, whether or not you really would like to jump on a trend or not. One trend you can see right now is we do have a global population which is growing, and you have to feed the population. And that's the reason why I think we can't do anything wrong that we invest into fertilizer to feed the world population. Another trend is that AI is asking for more energy and for more chemicals. So that's why the 2 other business units, we do have in XRG Chemicals portfolio really makes sense. And that's more or less where you have to check and balance and take and build on your network just to find the right decision.
And while you are building leadership teams for global chemical assets, what is one quality you look for?
Well, if you are a pioneer and if you're an entrepreneur, which is really strong in your DNA, you are a good guy for my team.
Entrepreneurship.
Yes, but I think you also need to understand the language of molecules, because that makes the chemical industry very much different. You know, I have seen even my kids at school, you know, they struggle to learn chemistry. It's a new language you have to learn.
So
and
they
it's
are
not
learning
so
chemistry, they want to become like you?
My youngest son also follows me, so I'm very proud to say. But the language of chemicals is a difficult one. Not all people like to speak the language. But at the end of the day, you also need to have a combination that you also understand the financials. At the end of the day, we have a responsibility that we deliver shareholder value. And the shareholder value is not a molecule, it's a firm dollar in the pocket of our shareholders. And therefore we are very much also driven by dividends. So we need to have a certain dividend performance, and everybody has to contribute to that. At the end of the day, it's the spirit of the team which guides our decisions and which will make the success in global chemicals.
So mainly entrepreneurship and team spirits, basically. Correct, yes. And if we want to talk about how XRG serves the UAE long-term industrial strategy, how does it serve it?
Well, we are counterbalancing a little bit that we don't have a regional exposure. I think the international component is very important, that we do invest also outside the UAE. But on the other hand, with our portfolio, we also attract companies to come to Abu Dhabi and to invest here. And it's part of an industrial diversification you are going to see happening here in Abu Dhabi. It's also to reduce the import dependency on some products here in Abu Dhabi. So at the end of the day, we make us visible in the outside world, and we are attracting companies also to invest here in Abu Dhabi.
And why do you consider Covestro to be a right acquisition, and what does it add to your portfolio? What capabilities does it add to your portfolio?
Covestro is complementary to our portfolio. It serves the same industry like, for example, our polyolefin companies are serving. Covestro is a world leader in technology and very, very innovative. They have 13 research centers around the world, and they are coming with tailor-made customer solutions. We are talking about Covestro, which is present in all the continental markets. They have a presence in the US, they have a presence in Europe, and they have a presence in Asia. So we can play within Covestro with the arbitrage between the three continental regions. And when I talk about Covestro, there is a growth and upside potential in the company. What I really have to mention is that the company, if you look back the last 4 years, they really couldn't show up a very good cost performance. And that's just what we have learned and trained ourselves in Borouge. Borouge is the world leader on a cost basis, more than 30% EBITDA margin. That's what we would like to transfer and help Covestro to be more competitive in the market.
And why do you describe Borouge as a pearl in a tough industry?
Oh, it's my rock in the ocean. If you look into last year's performance of Borouge, it is like a money printing machine. Every quarter you could calculate around $500 million of EBITDA.
God bless.
It's the only, yes, it's the only company. It's the only company with a high performance with net income. It's the company in polyolefins which could show up a very satisfying total shareholder return. It's a company with substance which has a leading position as we speak about their production. They increased their production last year to 5 million tons. and they have invested into future growth. We are going to have Borouge 4 coming upstream, and then they will go beyond 6.5 million tons of production. That's the largest production site in the world. And Borouge is the leading example in my portfolio. Highest performance as we speak about profitability, a leading position in technology, and a leading position in the markets. With premium products, only Borouge can supply because they have a special technology.
And how does Borouge International Group elevate your global footprints?
It brings even more growth into our company. And it brings another component. Right now we are only in reduction of costs. If we bring these three companies together, we bring on top synergies on the table. And the synergies is a growing number year by year. As more the guys are sitting together and think, what can we do together? We increase the synergies. Borouge Group International will be also an enrichment in technology. Right now we have Borstar technology with Borouge, and we will get and gain another technology, EST, from Nover from Canada, which is a US-based technology. So we have two leading technologies coming together in one company. That gives me the comfort that we are going to have an optimized potential because we are targeting now more premium products in the market where we can further improve, especially the margins in Borealis and Nova. And we can play the arbitrage game, what I have explained to you in Covestro. Each company is a regional player. Nover in the US, Borealis in Europe, and Borouge in the Middle East and in Asia. Now we bring all together and we play a much, much bigger portfolio and we can optimize.
Globally.
And we go for further growth.
Yeah. To talk more about Fertiglobe, Fertiglobe connects you with fertilizers, ammonia, and food security. How does it strengthen your global chemical positioning?
Oh, this company surprised me last year, 25. I was not expecting that they are going to be so successful. If you look into 25, Fertiglobe could announce a $1 billion EBITDA. Just a few weeks before, they had a capital markets day, and they promised to the market that they will deliver the 1 billion EBITDA in 2030. They managed last year. So they managed their business that they reached the 1 billion already last year. How did they do that? Of course, they have optimized their market, especially the fourth quarter. They are supplying Europe, and Europe had a trend of natural gas prices. Everything we have to do with the fertilizer business is just indexed to the gas prices. If the gas prices are going up in Europe, you will see performance of Fertiglobe is going up. And now we are talking an enrichment in my portfolio because Fertiglobe follows a totally different chemical cycle than the polyolefins and the performance materials. And that's the reason why my portfolio is getting more and more robust in XRG, because I do have Fertiglobe, which is contributing in times where we're going to see a higher gas price, where we do have higher feedstock cost in the two other segments, polyolefins and performance materials.
Hopefully, if you are successful, where do you see the UAE in 10 years in the global chemicals landscape?
Well, I think my vision is very clear. In 10 years from now, I think we are top 3 player in the global chemical industry. And everybody will look with lots of respect what kind of development we could demonstrate to our shareholders. And we are going to operate a Verbund chemical site over here in Abu Dhabi, which is fully integrated, which is coming with cost leadership, which is coming with diversification, help the company, help the country to diversify the industry. So we will be a chemical high-tech center also in Abu Dhabi.
From your position, what is one misconception about chemicals that make investors misunderstand it?
Well, I think the investors are struggling now because there is an uncertainty. What I see in the chemicals markets and the investors, they look back and they look to the chemical cycle of the past. And what they have realized is you cannot copy the chemical cycle from the past to predict the future. So nobody really could smell the end of the light at the end of the tunnel. And now most people sit and wait until the market recovers. But sometimes it might be too late. You have to think yourself, how is that possible? From my point of view, you can reduce your risk if you acquire companies in a down cycle for a down cycle price. Because if you do that, you have only the upside waiting you, and you have prepared yourself that the company in the down cycle will remain and show a certain performance, and you're investing into the upside in the future.
And from your perspective, what skills will define the next generation of leaders in this industry?
Well, I think they should be passionate to drive business. Yeah, what we're looking for in the first instance, a businessman.
And AI, of course.
Yeah, that's coming. I think what you have to have is, I think, high tolerance and openness for new technologies. AI is an enrichment for all industries. It's not only for the chemical industry. We will have so many applications, and you really have to understand that especially such a transformation is transforming many, many industries. And as a new business leader, that's one of the technologies you should have an eye on it. But at the end of the day, this is an enabler to be more competitive in the market. If you're without that, your competitors will eat you, and then you can't survive. And that's the best what I can say, especially in chemicals. Everything I have learned, it's driven by technology. And AI is the technology at the moment which impressed me as much.
And what is one mistake young professionals should avoid immediately?
Well, I think especially young professionals should have the right to make mistakes. If you don't make mistakes, how do you want to learn? I think you have two ways to learn. You make mistakes, but make it only once. If you make it twice, you are not able to learn.
Try to learn from the first mistake.
Yeah, and I think it's also a learning organization. Also AI needs a learning organization to be implemented. I see that in my daily life, that I really ask people, hey, use AI more. And the second I would say is listen to people who are experienced, who give you food for thought, but you always have to find your own way. You have to determine what kind of manager you want to be. You have to determine, and you have to set your mosaic stones, how your picture will look like. Everybody can build on his own future by himself.
So XRG was launched from Abu Dhabi with a global mandate. What makes it special and different from other energy companies?
Well, I have worked in so many companies, and I can tell you, I haven't seen a company with such a dynamic like XRG. If you look, we are a startup company. We were born just a year ago, more than a year ago, and we improved the asset under management to more than $150 billion. And within a year, we nearly doubled it. Now we are talking about a company which has $150 million under management. And XRG, I think it's very special because it's a company which is investing into growth and transformation. So we are focusing on a value chain. And if you look into the structure of the company, you see that we are investing into integrated business into the value chains. It's not only the business which brings value, it's also the company which brings value to the shareholders.
Yeah, that's correct. Before we talk more about XRG, who is Reyner, the person behind so many decisions, and what influenced the way or shaped the way you think?
Well, I'm a merger of chemicals and energy. I started as a chemist with BASF, the number one in the industry, in the global industry of chemicals, and I was the CEO of 2 oil and gas companies in Europe before I joined ADNOC, first as an advisor and now as a president chemicals in EXRG. What I learned in chemicals is that this is a cyclical business, that this is driven by innovation and technology, and that chemicals do have a different cycle going forward. What I learned in energy is that you have to have a proper risk assessment and risk management, because we have to invest into especially geographic regions where the geopolitical risk is really a topic. And that's the number two, why it's so important, because in energy you have long-term investments. We are investing for the oil and gas production for the next 10, 15, 20 years, and you have to calculate your investment on such a long period of time.
Reinhard, thank you so much for such a pleasant conversation.
I thank you. It was a pleasant conversation because of you. Thank you.